And that season, you had the best midfield in the country. And I just wonder, so in a couple of years, you then brought in Steve Hodge, Scott Sellers and David Rocastle. And it's always seemed to me odd that you brought in these players where you'd got the strongest. I heard what you said about Gordon Strachan, but you hardly ever played them. What happened there, Howard, with those three?
Well, I just wanted a stronger squad in depth. We needed to buy time. We needed to buy time because of what was becoming clear to me was that we were doing what we said we were going to try and do, which we were producing. There were some very, very good young players in our youth team. Very good. I mean, if you look at, if you go through some of those players who came out of the Centre of Excellence Academies, it's now called. I mean, I think on the team sheet, when they played in the semi-final of the Champions League, I think there were about 9 out of the 9 on the team sheet playing or subs who had started as 13, 14-year-olds.
So you were very much just trying to get through, waiting for those guys to come through, was it? Is that right?
Well, I think that when you look at back at, as I said, these dynasties, they eventually finish up producing their own.
Yeah.
Don did it at Leeds.
Yeah.
Alex did it at Man U. Liverpool were doing it well before, in terms of once Shankly got in there. They're successful. I mean, nowadays, it's good to see like Chelsea's and the Arsenals of this world now producing, and other clubs like them. Now, the idea that, which like when I was at the FA, and we talked about an England team of the future, that was why we came up with this notion of academies. That one of the byproducts of academies, if we were right in terms of our thinking, one of the byproducts would be better players for England. And I think in the last 4 years, we've really started to see that take shape. And it's good now to see the team sheets and look at them and say, it is happening. That different way of dealing with the younger players from 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old in a structured fashion, where people are doing things that are what they're following are principles rather than whims. But in the end, bearing in mind you're dealing with human beings, it's like behaviour in a good school. It's a school that's got a reputation for producing people who do as well as they can do, but at the same time they also produce people who, as it were, are not just academically contributing to the welfare of what the society, but they also contribute in the way that they've been brought up in a manner that we got responsibilities. It's not good enough just to be clever, and that principle applies everywhere. And certainly in football now, it's really, I think, got a grip.
And that set of players, Howard, that came through, they're really, really strong, and that's testament to you and what you try to do. But I just wonder, in retrospect then, difficult question, but was promotion the title? Did it come too much too soon?
Well, you can say that in theory. You can't say that in practice. But yes, it was too soon, because it's always going to be very hard to, as it were, maintain that. And you got the other thing that was happening was that there were people coming into game with loads of money, and clubs offering salaries that you know, that all of a sudden were not in keeping with, as it were, the size of the club.
Yeah.
Levels of money being paid are paid in a manner which is relative to what it is is being generated by their performances and by TV rights and God knows what and so on and so forth. So that difference is there, but yeah, what we've done would created an expectation which came 5 years ahead of that group of youngsters that, you know, emerged later and went on to play for the various countries.
I'm just thinking here, Howard, you wouldn't have traded that long-term sustainability for the peak of winning the title, or would you?
If you could have guaranteed me doing what it is I wanted to do, then yeah, but you can't.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't sit in the dressing room and say, listen, fellas.
Yeah, I get that.
You know that we're going to be as good as we can be in 5 years' time. We're going to lose next week.
Yeah. Sounds like Tim Bates, that. Can I ask you as well, one of the players you did bring in after David Batty left was Carlton Palmer. It was just a bit of a strange sign. Just tell me about it, because Carlton's very different from David Batty. Tell me what the thinking was with Carlton Palmer.
Carlton was a bit like, in some respects, a bit like Vinny. He's not shy, and that's still the case. He was a good athlete, very good athlete, and at that time he could play centre back and he could play midfield.
Yeah.
And I thought we needed legs. And people who could, someone who could get about the pitch, but at the same time had a bit about him in terms of influencing others. The group that was around when Vinny was around, there were better players than him in the group, but the group recognised what he brought to the party personally, and my view of Carlton Palmer was that's what could happen.